An interesting match in prospect. And Halifax will no doubt be looking immediately at the attacking potential that QLT brings with him. Straight into full back, good kick by Morell, goes around the back of Sykes. He drops the pass back inside. Halifax defence up quickly to make the tackle on the Dewsbury 10 metre line with Fairbank and Mayer. Jody Sharif drives the ball up, Halifax trying to push him back. An interesting attacking combination for Halifax this afternoon, with Simon Griggs moving to the loose forward position. Rob Spicer, who's been around a few years now, former York and Wakefield player. Robbie Ward turns it inside, Sharif gets the pass, Sykes goes outside, finds Glover on that far side, but Glover tackled by Conor McGrath as Dewsbury get to halfway. And now into Halifax territory. And the referee will signal the last tackle of this first set. And there goes Gareth Moore, hoists it into the air, and here comes QLT and off he goes. Two defenders waiting for him, safe under the high ball. And Will Sharp, well, perhaps we'll see a bit more of the ball than he normally does. I'm sure he and Conor McGrath will be coming in off the wings throughout this game to drive the ball up for Halifax, but at the moment they leave it back with the forwards, and Shane Grady running down the short side. A couple of seasons here did Shane Grady before moving to the Shea. Simon Griggs to Morell. Mayer tripping over his own bootlaces there as they took the ball on the 40 metre line. Dewsbury have kept Halifax in their own half. Morell gets the kick away under pressure from Ward, and the take by Josh Guzdeck, the former Hull KR player. He played at Dewsbury back in 2015 on loan. And Dewsbury already back to halfway. With Dale Morton, in comes Warren set against his former teammates who are struggling to put him down. And not the place you would expect to see Warren in the middle of the field, but work now continued in yard made by Teamby, the prop forward. Ward to Moore, Moore to Sykes, and Glover almost slipping through there. Ben Johnson unable to recover in time as he slipped down, and Warren goes on his own from dummy half towards the post. On the last tackle, probably not the option that Dewsbury wanted, but Sykes and Moore nowhere near the ball for the final tackle kick to put the pressure on, so it's a turnover and Grady runs it back for Halifax. Taking a while to get up and play the ball as Griggs takes it up to the 20. Three defenders waiting for him. Sharif and Teamby, two of the tacklers. Tyra drops the ball in contact. Well, a heavy overnight rain. It's obviously dried out with the heat of the sun this morning and the wind. So the handling conditions shouldn't be too bad, but proved difficult there for Tyra as he put the ball down on contact with the Dewsbury defence. Sharif dropping out of the scrum into Griggs. Chester Butler back to the right hand side. Moore, the drop off ball inside for Aaron Brown. Brown stopped 18 metres out. Halifax in danger of going behind, but there was a mistake there from Jack Teamby, who took his eye off the ball and he bounced forward off his fingers, and Halifax will see that as a relief that Dewsbury have made the error. Looking at attacking Conor McGrath and Steve Tyra's left hand Halifax defence, but not getting the opportunity. Halifax get the ball back. Tyra to run it up again. Gets the ball away, and Brandon Moore almost caught out there, but he's shrugged the defender off. Gareth Moore needs help from Sharif to make the tackle. Halifax almost in danger of losing possession again there. Chester Butler runs it up, and Sharif doing a lot of work in the opening minutes for the Dewsbury side. Griggs to Johnson, Johnson out to Grady. They'll have to create some opportunities here on this narrow field as Tyra takes the ball from Johnson close to the touchline, but stays in the field of play. Johnston to Mayer. Mayer takes it over the Dewsbury 40. Last tackle. And back to Morrell for the kick. The pressure on again from Ward, but Morrell gets his kick away, and Conor McGrath picks it away out of the hands of Warranty. Gets the pass away, and Halifax keeping it moving. Johnson to Grady. Grady out one-handed, and Conor McGrath into the corner. The referee has called it back, and Paul Sykes complaining to the referee. Referee indicating, I think he's put somebody on report there, giving Halifax the penalty. Well, surely he should have played the advantage, but Halifax will go again with Fairbanks on the 10-metre line. Brandon Moore acting half to Morrell to QLT, chiming into the line from full back. And Brandon Moore again in acting half. Quick service. Griggs to Johnson. Johnson running the outside, gets it away to McGrath, and McGrath again looking at going over in the corner, but somehow Dewsbury clambering across to keep him out. Glover putting him down. Brandon Moore. Griggs gets the ball away with a one-handed pass, and Butler gets it back inside to QLT with Gareth Moore still all over him, and that one a speculating pass from Saltonstall, which was nowhere near Will Sharp in the end up, but it looked a yard forward anyway. Well, Halifax with back-to-back sets, unable to come away with the points. I think perhaps they felt they should have come away with the points if the referee had played an advantage. Gareth Moore and Scott Morrell sharing a few words there. With the action, it looks like they're questioning the hairstyles, and Morrell still continuing it. They're going to compare the ball. Sharif comes in again, and that's a massive tackle from Simon Griggs. Robbie Ward. Scoop from dummy half, takes him up towards the 40. Gareth Moore reaches out for that one and go for the 40-20, which he was out practicing earlier. Well, that's answered Scott Morrell's little criticism, but it's still carrying on. You're outside. Well, saying that Gareth Moore was outside the 40, I think, and it wasn't a 40-20. Well, he was practising them in the pre-match warm-up, was Gareth Moore. Quite successful, I think had he been inside the 40 there, it would have been a success, but Dewsbury pushed Halifax into running the ball out from 15 metres. Tyra tried the big handoff there, and Grady takes the ball off Griggs, and Shane Grady battling with Team Bet, who's didn't want to let go. Quick play that Paul Grady wasn't put down. Brandon Moore gets it away to Fairbank. Morrell out to Chester Butler. Butler comes back on the inside and then gets to halfway. Spicer and Hallett the tacklers. Short side with Morrell to Saltonstall. Well, that looked a little bit forward, but they've got away with it. Hallett trying to wrestle the ball from Saltonstall as Sharif goes for the charge down, and it could go into Dewsbury hands here, and Glover just unable to keep hold of it. Halifax gets 6 more tackles, and Johnston struggling to keep his feet, obviously still a bit damp underfoot. QLT away from one, gets the ball away out to Chester Butler, and Butler in a straight line and then veers away from the fullback, and Chester Butler will get the ball down. Halifax's first try. And QLT may not have scored it, but he had a hand in it by pushing away from two would-be Dewsbury defenders. And Chester Butler from 30 metres out put his head down, went for the line, and for the last 3 or 4 metres just veering away from the full-back Josh Gulsdeck, who could do nothing to stop Butler at speed, getting the ball down and making it Dewsbury Rams 0, Halifax 4. See you later. Well, Conor McGrath's strike may not have counted, but this one does. And Steve Tyra with heavy strapping on that right wrist and forearm. Successfully turns the 4 into 6. Well, there's been some controversy in matches at this ground in the past. And we're set for even more because the referee put something on report on that far side just prior to Conor McGrath going over. Not quite sure what it was. Ultimately, Halifax 6-0 up. So Gareth Moore's kick in vain from pushing Halifax back into their own half as Will Mayer drives the ball away. Seemed to be putting himself in the way. And Crowther finishing off the tackle. Glover and Ward the tackles this time. And Shane Grady closely marked. Still not put to ground successfully, so it should allow a quick play of the ball. The Dewsbury defensive line way offside as Fairbank gets caught with the ball and all tackle this time from Hallett and Spicer. Morell, ball goes behind. His opportunity here for Gareth Moore. Will Sharp trying to chase him down. QLT back inside and Brandon Moore unable to stop Dale Morton going over. Halifax going for the show-stopping stuff down this side, and the ball went to ground. And Morton and Gareth Moore interchanging really well. Sharp couldn't get back to Moore to cover the pass. And Morton on the inside. Probably another former Wakefield player, Neil Martin, who played under John Keir at Wakefield quite some years ago that now. In the right place at the right time to post Dewsbury's first try. And Paul Sykes will look to add to his 19 goals for the season. That's Dale Morton's 5th try of the season in 8 games. And Sykes, no problem from there. Well, Halifax maybe just getting a little bit ahead of themselves there in trying to throw out the passes. Misread by the outside attack. Scooped on by Morton initially. And combining with Moore for a try. And a conversion from Sykes that levels the scores. Halifax move up to make the tackle in the red zone, and then Sharif Tackled by Butler and Morrell. Spicer into Fairbank, and Morrell there again. A long trek down the M1 next week to play the Toronto Wolfpack for Halifax. Chester Butler caught offside by Robbie Ward for the first penalty to Dewsbury. Gareth Moore will pin Halifax back to defending on their own 10-metre line. Dewsbury will look for more points. Moore to Sharif. It's gone out of the game a little bit since that only 5 minutes when he did such a lot of work, and then the team be driving it forward. Strong run up to the Halifax defence. Sykes to Moore. Spicer taking the ball on a three-man tackle, a metre from the Halifax line, pressing again. Moore, well, looks showing to kick then, but being all wrapped up by the Halifax defence. Ward to Sykes. Sykes gets the long pass out, and an opportunity for Glover to come back inside. The Halifax defence is there. Last tackle, will it be a crossfield kick from Sykes or Moore? Short kick from Sykes. Halifax failed to deal with it, but the referee has wiped the try off for a knock on over the line, I think, and then somebody in the Dewsbury colours has well, he said he was offside. I thought he was giving the penalty for somebody speaking out of turn because he'd disallowed the try. And Halifax will breathe a sigh of relief, undone by the kick against Swinton last week. Almost done by Dewsbury this time. Sykes with a little chip into the defence. Fairbank takes the inside ball off Griggs and he's driven to the ground. My team being Crowther and Morrell having to reach for that one, and there was never anything going to be coming from Morrell there. He was falling to the ground as he took the ball. Will Mayer to Johnson. Johnson to Grady, and Grady over the 30-metre line, but the ball has somehow got out to Johnson. Last tackle. Morrell will just drill it into touch on the far side. You want to have a word with Ben Johnson there. He was up in the attacking line, but little options Halifax had on the last tackle, but they put the ball into touch and Dewsbury the opportunity to try and bring it away from their own 10-metre line. The referee making sure Halifax are offside. Warrensey coming inside, and there's a posse of Halifax defenders to bring down Warrensey. Butler riding his luck, getting away with it. Martin cutting inside. There's three men again there for Halifax. And another Dewsbury penalty. We'll give Dewsbury the piggyback kick. It's a massive kick by Sykes. Well, it's a massive kick obviously because it's a shorter field, but it's put Dewsbury back in the Halifax half, and Ward gives it to Spicer. Spicer back to Ward, and Saltonstall all over Robbie Ward. 22 metres out from the Halifax line. Sharif will run it up. Chester Butler, Scott Morrell, Jacob Fairbank, all there to stop Ward. Sykes and Moore combining, gets the ball away to Glover again, and Glover put down 10 metres out from the Halifax try line. And Jody Sharif seems to be struggling a little bit, but Wakefield will. Dewsbury will continue with Aaron Brown. 8 metres out looking for a penalty. Sykes, short ball to Sharif. Well, no ill effect shown there, but Sharif not with the same impact he'd had earlier, and Halifax able to stop him. Robbie Ward trying to kick through, but Brandon Moore it is that's quickest to react there, and off goes QLT. From full back, quickly chased down by the Dewsbury defence. Will Sharp will try and run it out, and for all the metres they're making sideways, Halifax struggling to make them forward. Here goes Saltonstall up to the 20. And Aaron Brown, a little eye on Saltonstall there, who shakes his head after an appeal to the referee. Last tackle, and Dewsbury have done well defensively. Halifax still in their own 30. Morell being given space to get the ball away, aiming it towards Warrington, but it's not going to get that far over. It's into the arms of Guzdeck, the full back, and he takes it back to the 40-metre line and is eventually dragged to the ground. Kyle Tout and Chris Anakin on for Dewsbury. Anakin with heavy strapping round the right arm. Off goes Morton, Dewsbury's try scorer. And they find a way through the Halifax defence, and Dewsbury, it has to be said, looking a bit better in attack because they making more metres. Kyle Trout doing the same there as he takes it up to the Halifax 20. Ward out to Moore. Guzdeck into the line, caught round the legs by Morell. Last tackle. Will Moore kick through this time? He'll crossfield kick from Gareth Moore, taken by Conor McGrath and taken illegally by James Glover, says the referee. No, it's contact in air, I think. Glover catching McGrath in the air. It's that, they go like that in air, and that's and so means Halifax have to bring it away from their own red zone again. And Dewsbury looking for another strong effort in defence to keep Halifax in their own 30 again. Will Sharp up from acting half, got away from Robbie Ward, but second line of defence from Dewsbury there. Brandon Moore to Johnson. Tyler with the handoff again. 6 points all. 22 minutes gone, and Johnson skipped through the defence. Has support either side. Morell was an option, but Brandon Moore was an even better option because he had fewer Doncaster Dewsbury defenders around him. And Ben Johnson puts Brandon Moore in for Halifax a second try. Well, good work from Johnson because the defence had hands on him, and Johnson somehow forced his way out of the tackle and did have Scott Morell. I think Scott Morell had 2 defenders on him, and Brandon Moore only had Guzdeck as a challenge if he took the ball, and he was able to get to the line, put the ball down. Halifax into double figures, and after scoring, Brandon Moore will be replaced by Ben Kay. Dan Fleming and Elliot Morris also coming on. Halifax changing the front row. Despite the conditions cooling down somewhat from the last couple of days, still quite warm, I'm sure, for the players out on the field. Fairbank just having a once over from the doctor as he left the field. Looking around his face. Steve Tyra, after a long pause, has put the conversion over successfully. To put Halifax back in the lead by 6. Dewsbury 6, Halifax 12. And Halifax with, and will commence from the kick-off with a new front row. No doubt Dewsbury will have seen watching Tyra convert from under the post. So Sykes to kick again. Plenty of air time on the ball as Morel to QLT. Fleming's first touch takes him over the 20. Conor McGrath using strongly with a few groans on that far side from the supporters in blue and white. Surprised McGrath was able to get up and play that ball correctly. The Dewsbury defenders still all over him. Again, the defence slow to get up. Grady running straight and direct, but being tackled hard by the Dewsbury defence and put on his back. Johnston to Elliot Morris, who signed a new 2-year contract this week for Halifax. Last tackle, and Halifax have this match managed to get into the Dewsbury half, and Morel's kick is going to drop in the in-goal area where Gosdek will pick it up, and Morel was put down after the kick had been put away by Robbie Ward. It wasn't illegal. I don't think Ward could pull out of it, but Ward now being replaced by Dom Speakman. Warrensey will barge his way through to use his strength. Well, not only got speed as Warrensey's got plenty of strength as well. Moore gives the ball to Hallett. Hallett stood almost just waiting for the Halifax defence to come and pick him out on the halfway line. Just stood still and waited. Speakman, first touch ends on the Halifax 40-metre line, and the last tackle of this set of 6. Moore picks it up from acting half and tries to drop it in behind the defence, but too much toe on that one. QLT lets it go over the dead ball line. QLT that runs it back to the 20 and will take the first run at the defence and give it to Saltonstall. And Saltonstall's done pretty well there to get over the 30-metre line. And Will Sharp carrying the ball up another 10 or 12 metres for Halifax's cause. Ben Kay to Morris. A bit low was that pass, but Morris managing to take it. And a fumble at the play of the ball, and that's a penalty. Chris Anakin making no attempt to get away from the play of the ball. And it's within range, and he's also opened his mouth as well, so that's 4 Halifax penalties, and Morel's elected to go for touch where there's a potential perhaps Halifax to go 8 points in front, but they think maybe that with the fresh legs in there's an opportunity to increase their score by more than a successful penalty. If they can create the opening in the Dewsbury defence. Morel to QLT. Oh, great ball to Saltonstall, and Saltonstall has planted the ball down, and Halifax did right to turn down the 2 and go for the 6. And once again QLT is involved in a move that ends in a try for Halifax, and James Saltonstall, who looked as though he'd been held up and managed to turn round in the tackle and get the ball down, so turning down an 8-point lead. Halifax turning down an 8-point lead from the penalty. Halifax have taken a 10-point lead with a try from Saltonstall. Third try of the afternoon, and the Dewsbury supporters still not impressed that the penalty was given against Chris Anakin for not moving out of the way. I think if you view the replay of that, you'll probably see that Anakin didn't make an attempt to roll away, but rather just roll away and slow down the play of the ball. They'll give away the penalty. Halifax made Dewsbury pay, with Saltonstall going in for the third try. And the first try of the season for James Saltonstall in 2018. And because he's got 40 tries in Halifax colours, it seems to have taken a long time this season for Saltonstall to get his name on the score sheet, but he has. Tyra failed with a kick as the wind carried it across the front of the post. Gareth Moore hobbling from the field. Well, hobbling towards the touchline, was having trouble in the pre-match warm-up with his right thigh or hip area, and he's struggling on it now. Is Gareth Moore. Sykes restarts, keeping it low to the ground, and Sharp somehow managed to keep it in, but the referee has deemed that it's a knock-on. Didn't see that. I think the Halifax supporters and Will Sharp both think that he managed to stop it with his feet. It was bouncing away from Markle. He picked it up cleanly, but so we didn't have a very clear view of it from up here because of the steel post that holding the roof on the stand. Sykes gets it away to Guzdeck, and Guzdeck tackled by Ben Johnston. With QLT there as well. Warren's pass inside is not the best, but Sykes somehow managed to get hands to it. And the run round with Kyle Trout gets the ball away, and Aaron Brown is tackled. Referee's seen a forward pass, I think, on Halifax. Celebrations all round for Halifax as they keep the line intact for this attack from Dewsbury and get possession with a scrum on the 10-metre line. Ten minutes and 10 seconds about to half time. Halifax will want to keep the 10-point lead or increase on it. They don't want to give any points away, and Dewsbury helped that cause them by throwing the pass forward. Really put down eventually and held on to a long time, and Don Speakman shot out of the line then, and here's Speakman again as Fleming gets away from Speakman. Fleming crashing into the Dewsbury defence and driving it up to halfway, gets up and plays it quickly. Ben Kay uses the short side. Will Sharp off the inside of Morell's pass, gets up and plays it quickly. Ben Kay runs towards the line, giving it back to Morell, across the field to Johnson, and Johnson a stepping run again. Ben Johnson, Dewsbury defence holding off, and Johnson kicks for the corner, and Conor McGrath only just fails to get there as Glover manages to kick the ball dead on that far side of the field. Well, Ben Johnson given all the time in the world there. I was surprised Dewsbury allowed that because they gave QLT a lot of time early when he set the try up for Chester Butler. And Conor McGrath only just failing to get on the end of that kick from Johnson. Halifax will get the ball back from the dropout. It's a big kick which Morell takes inside the Halifax 40, gives it inside to Fleming, and Fleming charges the ball into Kyle Trout and Chris Anakin. James Green on, and Green shoving defenders off, offloads one-handed to Ben Kay. Fleming will have another go at the defence and tries to swerve around the defenders up to the 20-metre line, and Morell looking for runners, finds QLT into the line but not able to find the gap. Had Saltonstall on his shoulder, couldn't get the ball to him. Morris charging towards the line, and Kyle Trout was up high there. James Green has gone from acting half and forced his way over. I thought it was James Green. Well, I thought it was James Green. I'm going to say what was he doing there, but it's Ben Kay who's extended the Halifax lead. Scooting over from dummy half. A 14-point lead for Halifax. 7 minutes to half time, and Ben Kay, quicker than the Dewsbury defence, able to get over. Well, surely Tyra will convert from in front of the post to take his tally 2-3 for the afternoon. problem. 16-point lead, Dewsbury 6, Halifax 22. And both hookers scoring in the first half. Gareth Moore giving a thumbs up to the Dewsbury bench, but he's struggling. Move right outside onto the wing in a defensive position, and Morrell gives the ball inside to James Green. It's just pushed away. An attempted tackle by Jordan Crowther, and if he wasn't there, massive effort from James Green. Running at full belt, and Butler lifted off his feet. Morris takes the short ball off Ben Kay, but an error made by Halifax. They should be playing safety first now, should Halifax, really, with a 16-point lead. No real need for the fancy stuff, but it was only a short pass. Trying to put Morris in the gap. Well, there were plenty of Dewsbury defenders around the ball. Well, nothing really on, but Morris couldn't take the pass anyway, and so it goes to the Dewsbury scrum outside the Halifax 40. Sykes to Guzdeck, out to Warrenset. On the bounce, Warrenset's not going to go anywhere because he had to stop to take the ball. Want the pester passes for Glover. Had it have gone straight to hand, it might have been different. But then Tyra penalised. And a third penalty to Dewsbury. Not the best of passes to Sykes, who somehow managed to reach it again. It's the second time he's had to extend his arms to get the ball. And Gareth Moore's back in centre field now, gets the pass away. Hallett gets it out, but it's gone behind Morton. There was a touch from a Halifax hand, was there? Well, Dewsbury have got head and feed again. And Dewsbury will get another opportunity. With 3 minutes left of the first half. Halifax with work to do once again. They use this short side. Morton given the ball, but nowhere for him to go. Morrell, Sharp and Saltonstall making sure of that, and again they go for the short side, and Halifax are caught out by Dom Speakman. It looked as though Halifax are prepared for the ball to go to open field then, but Dom Speakman coming up short side play again. That really all comes from Dewsbury being given the position after the knock on just outside the 40. They were given the putting at the scrum, but they were there. Halifax making an error, and there was a touch on the ball which gave Dewsbury the putting at the scrum. Paul Sykes will look to convert his second try. Some poor defence from Halifax there, not alert on the near side. And Speakman probably sensing that Halifax were expecting them to go to the open field side. Good play by Speakman. Keep Dewsbury in this game at 22 points to 10, with the kick to come from Paul Sykes. Sykes has found the mark again. And I don't think Richard Marshall will be too happy about Halifax. conceding 6 points with 16 in front. Safety first rugby. Halifax says try and get the short pass away. Morell's kick, that could be drifting out, but it's hanging up in the wind. Guzdeck underneath it, inside to Kyle Trout. Trout carries it back 12 metres. Crowther over the 20 metre line. Goes Speakman again from acting half, and Speakman giving himself loads of room and creating loads of room, and a quick play the ball. Guzdeck up from acting half, carries it into the Halifax 40, and the 40 minutes are up on the clock, so we should be near the hooter, but Gareth Moore goes on his own, then away from Salton Sol, and Gareth Moore still going, gets the ball away to Teamby, and Teamby's put down 9 metres out on the last tackle. And got Gareth Moore to the right. It's gone to Sykes at the left though, and Sykes tackled. Well, what's on his Chester Butler that's made the tackle before Sykes could create anything with either hand or foot. Fleming attracting 4 defenders to him. Salton Stall from acting half 2. Will Sharp, and Will Sharp tackled by 3. Kyle Trout going around the legs, because I think Sharp might have got a bit further than it not be for Kyle Trout. Tyra trying to stay on his feet. Salton Stall drops the shoulder. Ben Kay gives it to QLT. And QLT will ask questions of the Dewsbury defence. The answer's positive this time as Morell kicks towards the corner, but that one too much behind it. It'll go out of play. Come back for the tap on the 20. Well, I'm not sure there's been too many stoppages in the first half, but the scoreboard shows that the 40 minutes is up and has been for about a minute and a half now. Warren set. Tackled by Morell, Salton Stall and Ben Kay, and then another interference. Warrensley with a smile on his face because he knows he's won the penalty there to drop the ball on the floor. Moore. The pass goes to Kyle Trout, but not Trout, it's Anakin, he just ambled up to the pass there. The hooter sounds, last play the ball this, and Sykes gets it away, and McGrath will knock on and put it into touch, and the referee will signal the end of the first half, which Halifax really should have taken a 16-point lead into the sheds, but Speakman with a quick piece of play catching Halifax defence. Butler had scored after QLT supplied the pass for him to go 30 metres, Tyra converted. Morton scored after Halifax threw the ball loose. Moore and Morton combining, the latter going in for the try, Sykes converting 6 points all, and then Brandon Moore, James Saltonstall, Ben Kay with tries for Halifax. Only 2 conversions for Tyra, and the 16-point lead was cut down to 10 points when Speakman caught the Halifax defence napping on a short side play. Sykes converted, Halifax leading but only just. The Tetley Stadium, Dewsbury Rams 12, Halifax 22. Halifax take to the field for the second half, leading 22 points to 12. Well, this game by no means over. Halifax halfway towards a top 4 position, even albeit joint top 4th. Technically they will be in 5th because of the scoring difference, but interestingly the fixture next week against the Toronto Wolfpack is currently giving a bit of spice because they are losing to the Barra Raiders 12-10 in the Challenge Cup. And that away from Barrow's Craven Park ground in Cumbria, where they's lost last week for the first time in 2 years. Halifax seem to have learnt the lessons from the Challenge Cup defeat to Oldham, albeit an expensive one. And we'll be hoping they can complete the 80 minutes in front at the end of this game. QLT, James Green again charging into that Dewsbury defence, and they're really having trouble putting him down. 3 of them to tackle him just outside the Halifax 20. Elliot Morris charging in. Direct route. Morris looking to play the ball. Well, there was a Dewsbury hand in there. And the referee has blown twice for penalties on separate occasions for incidents just as that, but seeing this one as a mistake by Elliot Morris. Well, he's given Dewsbury the first opportunity of the second half with a scrum just inside Halifax 40. Pass off the back, Glover. Aaron Brown, it was that pass off the back of the scrum. Lucas Walshaw taking into the Halifax defence. Anakin away from the first defence, but Tyler bringing him down just inside the 20. Speakman gets the pass away. Brown to Moore. That was a metre forward. Referee spotted it as well, so it'll be given a penalty. I heard somebody obviously making a comment after that forward pass call, but there's no doubt about the pass being forward, and that's a monster kick by Morrell into the Dewsbury half of the field, and Morrell will be inside to James Green, and Green putting the Dewsbury defence to work again. Inside the 40, Ben Kay waiting for the quick ball. Elliot Morris charging it up, and near the contact almost up here. Ben Kay allowed to run. Ben Johnson round the back to QLT, and QLT to Tyra. Tyra to McGrath, and McGrath with the acrobatics again, but another forward pass as a referee. Well, watching some of Conor McGrath's antics, trying to get the ball over the line and tucked it down in attempting to score, and scoring in recent weeks. Almost reminiscent of some of the stars of the NRL, the way he throws himself at the line. But this time it's another forward pass which cancels out the attacking option. And Warrensey comes inside. And he's probably as big as most of the Dewsbury forwards is Rob Warrensey, but not strong enough to get through the defence, as I thought there was Gareth Moore taking up, but it's the winger Morton. Sure they'll be working on Gareth Moore's hip and thigh area at half time, trying to get him back to full fitness. Struggled last 10-15 minutes of the first half. And Moore calling the shots now on that left hand side. Dewsbury calling for the penalty, but Moore left out there as Brown stepped in and passed the ball out wide. Last tackle made on halfway. Moore there this time to kick the ball straight down to QLT, and QLT again bounces off the defender, gets the pass away to Johnson. Opportunities this side perhaps, as Johnson tries to duck under a swinging arm from Paul Sykes. Conor McGrath off again, picks the ball up from Acton half, goes up to the halfway line. Trout and Anakin the tackle, as Will Sharp takes it up another 10 metres for Halifax. Ben Kay to Grady. Grady comes off the foot of Conor McGrath. Dewsbury finish up with the ball. Well, giving possession away cheaply there, Halifax. Conor McGrath might have been better. Well, they can't give a high tackle. Well, He's blown the whistle. One of his legs went up in the air. They didn't actually dump him illegally, but the legs went up. Referee no option but to give a penalty. Paul Sykes put it into touch 5 metres from halfway. It looks like Walshaw's going to have a pick and go from 5 metres inside the Dewsbury half. Another former Wakefield player made his debut at 18-year-old Lucas Walshaw. Anakin struggling to get in. The Wakefield side sent out on the loan to the Dewsbury Rams, complaining to the referee. Gareth Moore almost through, changing the angle of attack. Morris and Green making the tackle. And James Green was held in then by Gareth Moore. That's a good tackle. Glover makes a mistake, and the referee will give a knock on. He's having a long look at the linesman, the touch judge, and he's saying Halifax touched it. And it's another scrum to Dewsbury on the 20-metre line. So far, the average performance by Halifax, only a 22-12 lead, but unable to shrug off this battling Dewsbury side, who are looking for the first win after 60 feet. And that's another penalty. High tackle, says the referee. Walshaw will drive it forward. Dewsbury being given opportunities on back-to-back penalties to reduce that 10-point deficit. Speakman, long pass out to Moore. Moore gets his pass away to Crowther. Crowther stopped 5 metres out. Speakman pops it up for Kyle Trout, and Trout is over the line, but he hasn't got the ball down. He's held up by the defence. They'll go back to the 10 for the next tap. Speakman to Sykes. Sykes out to Walshaw. Walshaw will run the ball in. He's had hold of it 3 or 4 times and not passed yet, hasn't Walshaw. Speakman to Sykes. Well, Sykes gets a pass away under pressure from Kay. Gareth Moore allowed to run. He offloads it to Aaron Brown, and Aaron Brown, seeing a gap, gets the pass away to Guzdeck, who's in from full back. Last tackle, I thought Guzdeck had dropped the ball there. Speakman's going from acting half again, gets the ball away, and Paul Sykes will dive over, despite Elliot Morrison's despairing tackle, or attempt at a tackle. Halifax undone on the last tackle play. But a good pass by Speakman. A reverse pass into the hands of Sykes, and nobody in the way of Paul Sykes, who was able to go over and leave himself an easy conversion attempt from 2 metres out to the left hand side of the uprights. Well, something for the Dewsbury faithful to shout about for now. Morris and Kay being replaced by Simon Griggs and Brandon Moore. And how different it would have been had Halifax been able to hold on to that 16-point lead. But Dewsbury still in touch, and even closer now with another 2 points from Paul Sykes, making it Dewsbury 18, Halifax 22. Well, there's been some high scoring games between these two teams over the years. And it may be going that way again this afternoon. Morell's kick has been touched in goal, and the referee had decided eventually that they would knock on in goal with the assistance from the touch judge. Halifax to get the ball back from the dropout. They saw Sykes drop out in the first half with a huge kick which went into the opposition 40, and they'll be looking for that sort of distance again will Paul Sykes, if indeed it is him that takes the drop out. Anakin currently holding the ball. I can't see him being the dropout specialist for Dewsbury. Here comes Sykes again, big kick. This time it's only reached the home side's 40 as Fleming charges it back into a 3-man tackle, carrying it back 10 metres, and Dewsbury very slow to get up off the play of the ball. James Green carries it into the red zone of Dewsbury. Griggs away to Morrell. Morrell gets the pass away, and it's Butler off the short pass again, and Halifax hit back straight away to that Dewsbury try. I took some luck with the mistake in goal from Dewsbury from the kick-off, but Chester Butler on hand to charge over again from a pass. Well, that restores an 8-point lead, so Dewsbury still have to score twice. There's still 30 minutes to go in the second half, but the fact that Halifax responded so quickly to that Dewsbury try means that they're hit their straps now after a slow start to the second half. Tyra to make it a 10-point lead from 10 metres out to the right hand side of the uprights. Tyra's kick sails over, the flags go up, and Halifax respond with 6 points of their own to make it Dewsbury 18, Halifax 28. Paul Sykes has seen fit to consult the referee on something, but the referee waving away the protests of Paul Sykes. It will be Sykes that restarts again for the Dewsbury Rams. With a spiralling kick into the arms of QLT. James Green will charge it out, and once again Jordan Crowther gets back at the second attempt, was pushed away with the first charge, and Morrell knocked on. Well, clear to see, and it's Halifax that make a mistake from the kick-off on the second play. Now handing Dewsbury back a chance to see if they can respond. Well, Sykes showing the ball, gets it round the back to Guzdeck. Johnson onto Guzdeck, doing a good job of slowing him down till Grady and McGrath stop there, so they're still on the 20. Glover inside to Walshaw. Walshaw carrying the ball into contact and then driven back a couple of metres. Moore and Fairbank up quickly to allow the ball to be played, and Kyle Trout showed a dummy with a big shoulder in from the ribs from Grady. Brandon Moore there again, 9 metres out. Anakin to Gareth Moore, long pass out wide to Hallett, and Hallett, well, looks like he's going to want the touchline then, but Halifax is Stalton Morrell put him down. Anakin, strong charge, but Wakefield still 5 metres away. Last tackle. Little kick through this time, and the ball is over the line, and Halifax will come back. Tyra's looking for the quick play. Dewsbury defenders blocking his path, but Tyra taking it on his own almost up to the 40, and for once not pulled back by the referee. So it's a 7 tackle set with Saltonstall attracting 4 defenders to him. Crowd are going down heavy. Saltonstall complaining they're getting nothing. Forward pass called, and Simon Griggs, tremendous run up to the Dewsbury 40. Dewsbury supporters complaining around the stadium as Brandon Moore sets off from a scoop from dummy half. Ben Johnson out to Morrell. Morrell to Chester Butler on a hat-trick and working hard to try and get through the Dewsbury defence, but a third man in the tackle stops his progress. 10 metres out, Scott Morrell turns it back towards the post, and then Griggs chose to kick, and defence hanging off Griggs. James Green out to Grady. Grady to Tyra, looking at getting the ball away, loses possession. Well, the referee saying the ball went backwards. Halifax get another opportunity on the last tackle with Johnson trying to get his foot to the ball, but eventually getting caught, but getting the ball away to McGrath, who kicks over the top. Conor McGrath, and the ball collected at the back by Morton, and Halifax tried to hold him up, but Morton goes to ground immediately, and Halifax about as well as they can expect to finish a set inside the 10. And complaints from Gareth Muth there, I think, about Halifax being offside. Dewsbury doing the hard work up the middle. It's a one-handed offload. Warrensey will look for a way around, but once again the numbers around him for Halifax in defence. Speakman putting the ball inside to Jack Teambeck with a kick downfield. Well, I thought it was going to be too strong. Conor McGrath lets it go out of play. Speakman a bit frustrated, then he thought that one was just going to slow up in the in-goal area. Conor McGrath shapes the pass and then takes the tackle and loses his shots in the process. QLT from acting half. Well, may not have scored this afternoon, but has had a hand in two of the Halifax tries. And then knocked on under pressure from the Rams defence. Well, it's not the play that Halifax were looking for. Speakman taking on the Halifax defence on that far side, and Saltonstall has a second go and gets away with it. Morton brings it inside and hanging on to Chester Butler, who's trying to hit the arm off. Moore to Sykes, Sykes to Guzdeck, Guzdeck to Glover, and Glover hammered by McGrath. Halifax wingers in recent weeks have been doing that a lot and coming in and attacking the line. Saltonstall might have this one to pick up, and has he got the pace? Well, he's run towards Guzdeck. Should have run away from him. He's not been tackled, hasn't Saltonstall? He's popped it up for Sharp, and Sharp may have the legs. Saltonstall went for the return pass, trying to get up and play it quickly, and that's well, surely if he's giving a penalty, it's got to be a sin bin for a professional foul. And Lucas Walshaw will be taking a walk of shame to the sin bin. But you've got to give credit to Walshaw for getting back there. Probably the biggest forward in the Dewsbury side. To be able to get back and bring down Sharp. Well, down to 12 men. Halifax are not going to take the opportunity of the 2 points. Turned down that opportunity and made 6 in the first half. Will they do the same in the second? Morrell stands, gives it to James Green, and James Green charging his way towards the line, and Dewsbury defenders being dragged into the middle as Griggs gives it to Johnson. And Johnson bounced away from the first attempt to tackle. And Ben Johnson, smallest man on the Halifax team, has left a Dewsbury defender on the floor requiring attention. Well, Dewsbury desperate to stop the Halifax attack down to 12 men. And this a glorious opportunity made a little bit better now with the time to inhale a few lungfuls of oxygen and get the breath back for the next tackle. And the doctor's on, so something a bit serious, but it's Speakman back on his feet, thankfully. Nobody likes to see anybody injured. Griggs to Morrell to QLT going for his first try in Halifax colours and stopped with a good tackle from Macaulay Hallett. Brandon Moore looking for a way through. Griggs surely will look out wide. QLT turning up again in the back line, gets away from one defender, gets away from two, still going QLT, and again it's Hallett that makes the tackle. This the last one of this set. Halifax needing to come away with something. Morrell goes on his own, and the penalty is given to Dewsbury for the obstruction. Well, Dewsbury and Neil Kelly, the coach, will be pleased with that effort from the 12 men with Lucas Walshaw off the field. And the penalty almost a 20-metre restart from the kick that went into touch, and Martin taking it up 9 metres. It's getting a bit scrappy around the play of the ball with both teams trying to slow it down a little bit, and Dewsbury I think complaining the loudest. And then there was a forward pass, and that Dan Fleming coming off second best there, although it looked as though it may have been a high tackle, but referee allowing play to continue with Aaron Brown taking the ball up to the Halifax defence just inside the 30. Speakman goes away from dummy half, gets the kick in down the touchline. Will Sharp will bring it inside, and Will Sharp against the Dewsbury defence still going. Tyra will stop by Warrensey, who's probably the only man left, and Warrensey wrestling to steal the ball. And Paul Sykes this time struggling with a hamstring by the look of it, so Dewsbury down to 11 men in defence for the moment as Paul Sykes fall to the ground. And needing attention and looks in some agony. Shane Grady charging the ball up. Well, thought about the pass I think, but referee has finally stopped the game as Paul Sykes is receiving attention, and it looks like he's going to have to leave the field. It looks like a hamstring problem for Paul Sykes. He's a key man, as is Gareth Moore, for this side. Well, he pulled up sharp and then fell to the ground. Well, I suppose he's getting on a bit in years. It's Paul Sykes now, had a pretty successful career playing for the London Broncos, but leaving the field now. Whether he'll get back on or not in the 20 minutes that remain, only time will tell. Morrell's gone for the 40-20 down behind Martin, but the ball bouncing and spinning back inside, and Martin has almost had to go back to his own try line to collect that one. Martin's round the first one and round the second, and risks a dangerous pass to Guzdeck, and Halifax get up, do well to still make the tackle inside the 10. Well, Warrency's picked it up, but did he shout held? Because if he did, that ball was never played by the Dewsbury full-back. He just drop it on the floor in an attempt at a pass. Glover taking the ball up to Fairbank and Mayer's tackle. Teammate over the 30. Brandon Moore wrestling for the steal. Dewsbury claiming the penalty. Sharif back on and into the thick of the action for Dewsbury right in the middle, and the referee has given another penalty for Jody Sharif. Looked as though he threw himself on the floor there rather than being held down. Well, Dewsbury with possession, 22 minutes, or 18 minutes left. Dewsbury 18, Halifax 28. Dewsbury still down to 12 men. Teammate driving the ball up again. Mayer and Griggs stopping him. Gareth Moore fancies the left hand side. Crowther caught by Morrell, well tackled by the Halifax captain. 15 metres out, but Dewsbury still pushing forward with Sharif. Jody Sharif driving the legs, and Fairbanks stopped that with a tackle from behind us. Teamy takes the short ball, and Jody Sharif had his way to the back of Teamy, trying to force him down on the ground, and now Robbie Ward is receiving attention for Dewsbury. Well, they're running out of players. Dewsbury, they've taken a few knocks. Paul Sykes off. Gareth Moore was struggling towards the end of the first half, but he's come back out and continued. Robbie Ward, the former Leeds player, back on his feet and hobbling back over to play the ball area. Speakman is currently at dummy half. Two hookers on the field. Oh, that's a good play from Chester Butler, who stopped Gareth Moore's kick, and Butler's still going, gets it away to Sharp, and Sharp looking for space, finding a bit, and still driving forward up to the Dewsbury 40 metre line. There was a second attempt by Ward there. Good ball from Johnson to Grady, and Grady gets it back to Ben Johnson, and Johnson, Brandon Moore inside him, and he decided to go for Morrell, and Morrell with a pass gets the return. Morrell still going. Butler on a hat-trick, some selfish out to Saltonstall, and Saltonstall is clattered 2 metres out from the Dewsbury line. Halifax looked as though he might have gone under the post there. Fairbank takes the defence on. He may turn his back a bit there. Fairbank looking at the possible offload, as he tends to do. Morrell goes for the line, but the Dewsbury Rams defensive wall shuts him down. Mayer to Johnson, Johnson to Grady, who turns round, gets it back to Johnson, Johnson to Tyra, Tyra for the line, a metre away. Halifax on the last tackle. Johnson, a little chip through, juggle on the line. Who'll get there first? Dewsbury, and put the ball dead, so Halifax will get it back from the drop out under the post. Real calamity there. Halifax almost getting to it. A deft little chip from Johnson into the in-goal area, causing panic in the Dewsbury ranks, and they somehow just managed to clear the ball away. Well, Gareth Moore will probably be the man that takes the drop out. Well, he isn't. It's Glover, I think, and that one on the floor. Saltonstall managing to stop it, and then Saltonstall almost find himself a gap through the Rams defence. Brandon Moore goes from acting half, away from one, away from two, and into the 10 metre zone of the Dewsbury Rams. Morrell goes on his own again, gets the pass away to Johnston. Johnston out to QLT, QLT to Tyra. Won't be denied this time, Steve Tyra. There weren't enough Dewsbury defenders there as the ball is handed out again. And QLT a hat-trick of assists in his first game for Halifax. Well, 15 minutes to go, a 14-point lead. Dewsbury 18, Halifax 32. And Tyra is not going to be in a rush. Referee has not stopped the clock yet, so the time is ticking down. Tyra looking for his 5th conversion. And another try puts the points up tally even further for Steve Tyra, and another successful conversion. Well, 14 of Halifax's 34 coming from a try and 5 goals for Steve Tyra, and a 16-point lead. And Salt and Soul brings it back from Glover's kick-off, if you can call it that. It's not really got off the ground. I'm not sure why Gareth Moore is not kicking, maybe because of that injury, although he did try a 40-20 in the first half. Brandon Moore to Will Mayer, who's testing the Rams defence. Tackled by Jordan Crowther. Morell back inside to Will Sharp. And a penalty to Halifax will give them an opportunity to put more pressure on that Dewsbury line. Fairbank into Jack Teambet. Johnston round to QLT to Tyra, and Tyra's over the line, but the pass has been ruled forward again. Halifax could have had possibly 3 more tries, but for forward passes, and the referee cancelling out an advantage in the first half and bringing it back and giving Halifax the penalty. So better than the Halifax, probably better than the scoreline suggests, but for just a little bit of poor finishing on their part. But the 34 points, another healthy return for Halifax. They're trying to make up a massive points difference between them and Lee and the London Broncos in the chase for the top 4 at the end of the season. Well, Halifax well and truly back in the mix after this performance this afternoon, if it does go the way of the men in blue and white at the end. And we'll be down to the last 13 minutes. Dewsbury 18, Halifax 34. Dewsbury having to bring the ball away from their own line. Back to the full quarter now with Walshaw back on the field. Moore chips over the top, Morell takes it, and QLT, he's off, he's away. They're not going to catch him, 34-year-old, but he's still running like a teenager, and QLT gets his first try in Halifax colours, and there was never any doubt once Morell gave him the ball there. There was only one place that QLT was going, and that was 65 metres to the other end of the field, and Dewsbury couldn't get within cooey of him. Great try from QLT on his debut, but I think if you'd have gone to a bookies, they wouldn't even give you odds on QLT scoring his first game. As soon as you got that, you knew what was happening. Well, Scott Morell took it facing his own post. QLT stepped up. Well, there was only ever one result from the full-back getting that ball, and that was another Halifax 4-pointer. And he's just a phenomenal try-scoring machine. 20-odd tries in 30 games for the Toronto Wolfpack. Previous to that, 213 games at Sheffield and over 180 tries. A phenomenal try-scoring record, and he's looking to continue it for Halifax. Unfortunately, in terms of his signature, means that he won't be able to play against the Toronto Wolfpack in London next week. Steve Tyra puts over another conversion, and it takes Halifax to 40 points for the afternoon. Well, there's no reason, there's no doubt what the End result is going to be now, I don't think, with another 2 points for Halifax. That takes them to dizzy heights for the first time this season. Will Mayer takes the ball from Morrell. And Dewsbury all over him, trying to slow him down. Fairbank runs it into a 3-man tackle. Richard Marshall could have selection problems next week with Ben Heaton playing in the reserves yesterday. James Woodburn all not far off. Morrell going for the 40-20 again. And Rob Warrensey applauded by everybody for taking that kick. And here he comes with a return. Not too far, he ran a long way across the field diagonally. Even the Dewsbury supporters giving ironic cheers there after Warrensey took the ball. And even he'll admit he's not the safest under the kick, but Halifax giving away another penalty, and Gareth Moore, well, that's perhaps why Gareth Moore hasn't been kicking in the second half. It made about 10 metres, he didn't even get 10 metres off the ground, the kick to touch. And Dewsbury back over halfway with Walshaw. Brown gets the pass away. Teamy gets up and plays the ball inside to Crowther. Crowther able to offload in the tackle, but no ground made, but still Dewsbury offloading the ball. Walshaw I don't think will do. Walshaw trying the big hand off in the face. And then another penalty for a high tackle. Well, maybe I ought to. Oh, that was a big hit by Simon Griggs. Huge hit by Simon Griggs, but here come Dewsbury looking to salvage something from this game, and that the mistake by Anakin picked up by Ben Kay. A free play, but Ben Kay only gets to the 10-metre line. Holding my breath a bit there. I thought Dewsbury were going to mount a comeback, but a mistake by Anakin at a crucial time. Simon Griggs replaced, and Conor McGrath has made the error, says the referee, by knocking the ball on. Dewsbury has another long breaking play, and the clock stopped this time. Thumbs up, and Dewsbury with 8 minutes. I'm hoping I'm not tempted fate by saying Halifax are home and hosed, because from Dewsbury looking at a comeback. Walshaw 5 metres out, goes to the floor. And another penalty. Crowther gets it to Gareth Moore. Gareth Moore looks for the miss, long pass, and it's a race for Will Sharp if he can pick this one up, but surely Sharp's off and running. They're chasing and chasing. Macaulay Hallett is going to try and get Will Sharp, but Will Sharp wins the foot race over Macaulay Hallett, which you would have expected, because he's a pace man, he's Will Sharp. Well, you can't blame Dewsbury for trying to put the fancy play on in the passes, but it just didn't come off, and Sharp's kick on. He was lucky with the bounce, but he's not lucky with the final 40-metre run to outpace Macaulay Hallett to the line. And certainly now put the result beyond doubt. Dewsbury 18, Halifax 44. Tyra will surely make that 46. Oh, another defeat for Neil Kelly's men. Oh, two Dewsbury supporters still got a smile on the face. There'll be a lot that haven't, but can't complain. They've had a majority of the penalties. They won that by a mile. Tyra puts over another 2 points. Well, 4 tries and 4 conversions in the second half, and Halifax have exceeded the first half score by 2 points. So a well balanced performance, if you could call it that, with 20 plus points in each half for Halifax. And Dewsbury not really having any answer, really not enthusiasm, but lacking the skill that Halifax have shown this afternoon. Managing 3 tries by Halifax with runs like this from Moore, pushing them back constantly. A few high spots for Dewsbury, but not really that much. And in comes Tyra, the drop off ball from Johnston. Short side play again, Ben Kay off the outside of his foot. Guznek will leave that one to go out of play over the dead ball line. It'll come back for the tap on the 20. There's 4 minutes left. And Morton, who gave hope to Dewsbury with his try in the first half, in which Sykes levelled the scores. And it really went downhill there from Dewsbury. They never really offered much resistance or much attacking flair. But Halifax have posted a big score away from home and needing that confidence before they go and meet the Toronto Wolfpack in London next week. Team Anakin gets the ball away to Brown. Brown to Walshaw. Walshaw to Glover. Kick from Glover. And QLT picks the ball up. Well, Glover will be left standing. They'll come back for a second go, but Walshaw will make the tackle before Glover gets there. Conor McGrath taking the ball inside. Fairbank picked up off the floor. Ben Kay gives it to Elliot Morris, and Morris gets to the 40. Held the arm out as if to pass, but then took the tackle. Ben Kay. Johnson back inside to Sharp, who was knocked off his stride by Robbie Ward. Might have been away. Ward not got to him. Morrell kicks to the corner, and that is a great kick for Morrell to put Dewsbury back in their own 10 metre zone. Well, they play Dewsbury again in 2 weeks, Halifax. And QLT might be the first player on record to make his away debut and his home debut against the same club. Fontenay. Warrensley taken down just inside the 20. Strong run by Kyle Trout. Up to the 40. Crowther. And Guznek, who's come to join the attacking line from full back. Moore. That little double. Walshaw passes this time, and Glover. Well, Johnson hanging on, needed help from McGrath and Tyra. The tackle made inside the Halifax 30. Walshaw runs it up again. No pass coming this time. Too many players around him for that option. Last tackle. Ward will look to Moore, and Moore will kick towards the corner, and Hallett takes it, but Sharp apologising for the contact in the air. Another penalty signalled by the referee. Morton looking for a second. Strong grab by Morton, took 3 to stop him. He shot the Halifax line. And another play from Acton now, sussed out by Halifax. Chester Butler stopping Robbie Ward, holding him up over the line, forcing him to go back and play the ball, and you don't see this often. Well, you haven't seen it yet. Gareth Moore caught with the ball. Tyra clatters him. Moore looks like a hurt puppy and gets the penalty. Trout driving it forward. And inside the Halifax 10, Moore short ball to Walshaw, and Walshaw's got to the Halifax line. But the hooter sounds, the referee will blow the whistle. There'll be no more action, and Halifax, after last week's struggle against Swinton, have put it right somewhat this afternoon with a big win over the Dewsbury Rams, 24 second half points. And Sharp just happy to put the ball into touch. That'll signal the end of the game. And from a 22-12 lead, it looks like Dewsbury might mount a comeback in the second half with Sykes' early try and conversion. But that was to the last part that Paul Sykes was to play in this game, and I don't think losing him would have had any sort of outcome, any resistance on the outcome. Sykes left the field and Halifax went on with 4 tries. Butler's second. Tyra QLT inevitably was going to score, and so did Will Sharp after a foot race with Macaulay Hallett. Tyra kicking 4 from 4 and adding a try of his own. So another big score personally for Steve Tyra, another big score and team effort from Halifax. Big winners at the Tetley Stadium. Dewsbury Rams 18, Halifax 46.